Hello and welcome to a life beyond me where we go beyond this small little sense of ourselves and step into our full power, realizing our true and most amazing potentials. Today, I want to talk about the need to be understood and the implications that it has in our everyday life. It's something that is influencing many ways that we experience life, and therefore, we just have to check out what's going on there because most of the stuff is actually not really conscious, but it's running in unconscious patterns, and it has a big effect on how we perceive ourselves and the world actually. As a child, we grow up and we have certain ideas about things. We look at the world in our own unique ways, and then someone else from the outside is telling us, this is not how it is, it's like this. And then another person comes in from the outside and says, no, what you have always thought about this, that's not true, it's like this. So our sense of our own truth and reality is challenged right from the start. And in some ways, that's beneficial because we learn about things, how the world is in a way that are practical. But at the same time, people are putting belief systems and ideas into our mental scapes at a very early age. And many of these things are not even true. So in this time, we as children learn that our sense of reality, what we believe to be true, how we perceive and feel the world to be, that might not actually be true. And that is somewhat shaking up our trust in ourselves and our own abilities in life, in our own capacities for understanding the world. And in that way, our attention turns outward and we're looking for other people for appreciation and for connection and an acknowledgement of what's going on. Is that true? Is that real? What's happening outside of me? Who am I? How do other people see me? And there's this, we start to rely on the mirror from the outside to see who we are and how we are and if our perspective on life is actually valid. This is something that is following us through all our life. It's ingrained in our experience that we somehow have this need for outside approval in a way. And it might just be subtle. It might not be this big thing like, oh, I totally rely on the opinion of others about me. That's not what it is. It's a lot more subtle and a lot more sneaky. It's so ingrained in our psychological, mental, and emotional makeup that we don't really see it most of the time. We go through life with this deep-seated urge and need to be understood, our reality to be approved and appreciated by other people. That is very ingrained in our psyche and emotional makeup, and we usually don't even consciously perceive this to be happening. It's something that is on the subconscious layers, that is just a part of ourselves that is so close to us that we don't really recognize it. Today I want to remind you of a very important perspective to look at these things from, actually. And that is that the reality that you are living in, that you are perceiving, however you are seeing life, and whatever is important to you, what you deem to be wonderful, and your unique perspective on life is totally and absolutely valid. It's at all times fully true. There's nothing that can take away from this. And this is very important to acknowledge, because with seeing that and truly realizing this, you don't have to rely on someone else's opinion about you, your beliefs, your life, your truth, whatever it is really, because it's true for you. And there is absolutely no need for approval anymore, because it is done. It is your perception and conception of the world, and that is uniquely, beautifully you. You don't have to cater to someone else and to make people understand anymore. And that is very cool. That is even emphasized this beauty or the futility of trying to share your own world and make them understand in what world you are living in, actually, because nobody but you can actually fully 100% see from your perspective. Every other person has a different shift, even just physically. Like I'm sitting right here right now. If a person sits next to me, they're looking at life from a different angle, aren't they? And that doesn't even account for all the things that they have experienced, the ideas, the mental projections and conceptions that have individually formed in every single person. So everyone is in their unique reality that they perceive as theirs and to be true, actually. And it is. It is true. It is totally viable. It is their reality. And this is where a lot of trouble in our communications and being with each other comes up, because we somehow assume that there is this one objective reality that is the same for everyone. But that simply does not exist. It's 8 billion human realities that are created on this planet in any given moment that have some similarities, yes, but at the same time they are very uniquely shaded in the individual self's perspective on themselves, life, people, the world, whatever it is really. So in our coming together, we can only ever tell stories from our world to someone else and make them somewhat be aware of how we can see the world and how it happens for us. Yet we will never be fully able to transmit all of this, what we experience, to someone else. And in that way, the need for convincing someone of something is totally gone. Like, why would I even bother trying to explain sound to someone that cannot hear? Why would I try to explain the color green to someone that doesn't perceive green? That's the thing that all human communication is struggling with so much. That we are all coming from different realities and we are trying to put them on top of each other, but that just doesn't work. So it's more so a coming together of us and sharing stories of our very unique perceptions and explorations into life. And if someone is then influenced by that and a spark and their reality comes up and they're like, oh, maybe I'll look at reality, at my own unique version of life a bit differently. Maybe I can shift a little as well, go to this or that angle. That's fine. But we cannot expect someone else to fully get what we are presenting to them. It's impossible, and at the same time, it's totally unnecessary. There's no need for this. Because when you are grounded in your own reality, in your own truthfulness for yourself, and you know what your reality is, what your values are, what's important to you, how you want to be, how you want the world to be, then the opinions of other people, they don't matter. And I mean that in the most positive way. It's not like, I don't care about anyone, whatever anyone says. I can still acknowledge what someone else is telling me, but at the same time, I make the decision based on my values and how I see the world, on how I want to act, and not according to that other person. This is a beautiful step into freedom. That's why I want to encourage you for today to take a look at interactions, see where potentially this background program of trying to convey who you are, what your reality is, how you see life, what's important, what's not important, how that comes up in conversations or being with other people. And see how your reactions are in this. And if you're trying to convince someone of something that is important to you, or see it in the same way if someone else is trying to do this, and have compassion and empathy for someone that is caught up in the illusion of having to convince someone of something that that other person might not even be able to conceive. Uh, this twofold process of realizing I'm standing in my own truth, and that's all that is needed. I don't need anybody else's approval for what's true or not. I am as true and as real as can be, and I have all the tools to decipher reality. And then taking this into consideration that the reality of each and every person is a single, individual, and unique one. It is not the same that you have. You are not sharing the same reality. This is very important to acknowledge. And in that way, you see the futility of trying to convince someone, and then you can just drop that. Why would you do that still then? It might come up as an automatism because there has been a lot of conditioning with this. But ultimately, you can just drop it. It's just a waste of energy. Yes. So take this into the day, ponder how that comes up in your life. That's very important. Really dive into this, explore this for yourself, see if these words that are coming out of my mouth right now make sense to you, if they have some truth for you or not. Have fun with this. Explore. It's all of this is super exciting, important, and wonderful. It's this exploration of ourselves and the world and this interconnectedness, inward, outward, and it all comes together in one, and it's this beautiful creating infinite flow of creating, flowing. I can't even put it into words. It's just simply amazing. Yep, that's it for today. Go out and enjoy it and ponder what has been talked about in this video.